When can I harvest honey from my beehives? So the answer I often give people is go and check your beehives. The problem is people don't know what to check for or when to check. There's so many different answers to that question. So in this video, we will be going through to the apiary straight after this to go and open some hives, have a look at which ones can be harvested, what to look for, and just to know exactly when you can harvest honey from your hives. So there's a big misconception that people think that you can harvest honey directly from your brood box, directly from your hive box. So we don't want to harvest pull any honey from the brood box simply because we want to leave it for the bees as their reserve resources in case of drought, in case of extreme cold where they can't fly, or if there is no food in the environment. Any resources in the brood box are what they use. So that's why we use a honey super. When your colony is strong enough, we say at least 90% of the brood box is colonized, the bees are starting to run out of space. Just before swarm initiation, ideally, when the colony is huge, you place a honey super on top. So your honey super has got, same as the brood box, a beeswax foundation strip to help them build straight along the frames, not across the frames. If they build across the frames, you can't get the frames out. They build straight along the frames, and then some wiring reinforcement just to prevent the comb from collapsing during either transport or for when you're harvesting in your centrifuge. It just keeps your comb nice and strong. When your hive is ready, your colony is ready, you can place your super on top of your hive and then just leave them for 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. That'll just depend on what's happening in the environment. But let's go through to the apiary and go see what we find there. So today we're in this eucalyptus forest apiary. I haven't checked on these hives for quite a long time, so I have a feeling there should be some honey in these supers. So what we want to do, if the honey is capped and ready to be harvested, we will be pulling this super off, placing it on the side of the hive, taking the individual frames out, shaking the bees off back into the hive and placing them in this empty super, so that when we take this super back, we have far less bees at our honey extraction area. But what we will do is place our smoker next to this one as we move the frames over, just to prevent more bees landing on it. So what we're going to be looking for in this hive is capped honey. If it's uncapped, we'll leave it in the super, leave it on the hive, because they are still in the process of ripening the honey, and we won't pull that super until all those cells are capped. You want to make sure before you open the hive that you smoke them properly. Otherwise it's difficult to work with them and difficult to do what you want to do. Give them a few puffs on the entrances. And then we'll come around to the back of the hive, pop the lid open and give them a few puffs in between the lid and the top of the super, which just drives them down into the brood box. Makes it a little bit easier for us to see what's going on with the honey. Look here, see there's a queen, no queen there. Okay, here we've got some drone brood in the super. A lot of uncapped honey. Okay, so here's some capped honey, uncapped honey, capped honey, uncapped honey. So the super still needs a few more weeks before we can pull it. Just close up. Okay, so here's a pretty much capped super. A few open cells at the bottom, but that's nothing to be too concerned about. You can see a bit of a change in color there as the different nectar flow started, but looking pretty good. So I think we can pull the super. We'll close the box up so that we don't have to contend with the entire colony while transferring these frames into that box. You can lean your super up against your hive, then the bees that are still in the super can just go straight onto the hive or into the hive. And just by holding the edges of your frame, you can just give a shake to get all the bees off. Useful tip, put your smoker on the side of your super and in the direction of the wind so that it blows onto your super, then your bees don't sit on your frames that you want to take back to your extraction area. Okay, nicely capped. Also, one of the reasons why it's important to shake your bees off out of your frames, because the queen, sometimes when you smoke the entrances, she goes up into the super and you end up taking her back to your extraction area and you can't always remember which hive she came from. So make sure you take as few bees as possible back with you. Video useful. If you have any questions, leave it in the comments below, and remember to like and subscribe, and we'll see you on the next video. Cheers.